trees on one side and a cow shed towards the other. And you know how each one of us, we become explorers when we go to any place that is even slightly unfamiliar to us. Well, that day I became an explorer and I went through the coconut trees to find some beautiful swans, a small well, and some chickens going. And on the other side, behind the cow shed, there were some calves tied up and munching on some hay. There was the cow shed, there was the coconut trees, and right there, gentlemen, was an abandoned house. A really creepy abandoned house. Now, I had no intention of staying there overnight and recording an episode of Ghost Hunters. So I turned and went back to the house, and I asked my father about so many abandoned houses. And he told me how, during his childhood, there were around 30 families living in that very village, compared to the meager 5 that live there now. So, ladies and gentlemen, I had a question that day. What makes people move? I guess the title of this speech was quite literal. According to the Economic Survey of 2017, 90 million people, and put that in perspective, 10 times the population of Switzerland, 90 million people migrated between the Indian states annually. And this value is almost twice that of the migration rate from the previous decade. And out of all the cities that they moved to, Bombay, Thane, Pune, Surat, Ahmedabad, and Namma, Bengaluru, these 6 districts had more than 1 million migrants make the rural to urban move. It is also said that by the year 2030, the Indian urban population would touch 600 million. And before we brand this influx as a problem, it is critical to highlight that this influx, this event will create one of the biggest concentrations of consumers in the entire world. And the companies catering to this very urban population, selling everything from automobiles to apparel, will contribute to 75% of India's GDP by the year 2030. Now, this is according to a report by CBRE. But all this doesn't really answer my question, does it? What makes people move? Well, the first prominent reason for migration are the economic factors. The poor economic conditions and the lack of employment opportunities at the villages push the rural population towards the cities. Reason number 2 would be the demographic factors. Differential population growth rates at different areas, they determine the migration trends. Clearly, the fertility rate at the villages are way higher compared to that in the cities. So, out of 10 such children born in a particular village, 5 realize that they have much better opportunities at the cities. So, they pack their bags from the villages and move to the cities. Reason number 3 would be the social and cultural factors. You see, the caste system is still practiced by many in India, a lot more in rural villages compared to the cities. And this traditional caste structure has had a great impact on the lower castes. Because in the traditional rural economy, the scheduled caste workers were the ones who were responsible for all the agricultural labor work. But now, with the proliferation of education and the political development and the radical arousal of consciousness, these people now realize that they have a much higher chance of tapping their potentials at the cities. Yet another reason to migrate. But now, do you think my question has been answered? What makes people move? Let's see. Now, we know according to the pre-COVID trends that half of India's population will be city dwellers by the year 2030. We know that the 3 main reasons for migration are first, the economic factors, second, the demographic factors, and third, the social cultural factors. Now, don't you feel that COVID would have had an impact on these trends? Migrants are in fact moving back to the rural villages. While many will return once again, there might be others who might decide to stay. And now, with the advent of high-speed internet to even the remotest of areas, there is a probability where lakhs of such techies can work from the comfort of their homes, wherever they are. Now, I know this sounds really stressful for a lot of you, But this is just one of the many possibilities that the evolving technology and the current scenario could lead us to. I hope I've given you some food for thought. And now, finally coming back to the answer to my question. What makes people move? What makes people move is that, like every immigrant that lands on the American soil with their American dream, the migrants too have their own versions of this American dream, the Delhi callings or the Bombay vision. Thank you.